Why are the World War II history and the Great Patriotic War such big and personal issues to the Russians? The people of the Soviet Union paid the highest price for the victory over Nazism in World War II. 26 million Soviet lives, 18 million of whom were civilians, were lost in the bloodiest war of mankind. 70,000 villages, 1,710 cities were decimated, some of which had to be rebuilt from scratch. Not only were the Soviet people able to fend off the invaders, but also chase them down to Berlin and put an end to the war. Hundreds of thousands of lives were lost in order to liberate European countries, free thousands of prisoners held in Nazi death camps. This is no exaggeration. Every family in the post-Soviet countries has relatives or loved ones who either served or was affected by the war. Forgetting the heroic deed of our ancestors, their immeasurable sacrifice, would be the greatest shame for us. For example, every kid who goes to school at the Russian mission to the UN office in Geneva has a relative to remember, to be proud of. The same goes for our entire country. That is why May 9th, the Victory Day, День Победы, is such a big deal. The memories of our relatives who survived or gave their lives in the scariest of wars are sacred. So whenever people openly glorify former Nazi collaborators, members of Waffen-SS voluntary divisions, we take it personally. Whenever neo-Nazism is allowed to spread like wildfire and people who swore allegiance to Hitler are celebrated, we take it personally. Whenever a monument to the Soviet heroes, their graves and tombstones, which can be found in over half of European countries, are desecrated, we take it personally. Because it's our family, our great-grandparents and relatives we're talking about. Some countries may have a short historical memory. In Russia, we sure don't.
May the 9th, Victory Day. A day when an evil ideology was supposedly got rid of, destroyed. Well, that's what we were led to believe. Because today it's alive and well. It's always been alive and well, you know. Operation Paperclip. The CIA removing Nazi scientists, or the Americans, removing Nazi scientists. No, the CIA was around at that time, it wasn't. And then placing them in places like NASA to help them work on space exploration. Oh, and the nuclear bomb. Yeah. Those Nazis that actually did human experimentations in Auschwitz and Dachau. One of them was actually in Dachau experimenting on freezing temperature on the human body. Did you know that? Well, you do now. So on May the 9th, none of us celebrate. Why don't we celebrate it? Have you ever noticed that Serbia, who used to be our ally, who fought the Ustashas and the other Nazis of the 17th Panzer SS Division and all the other German Nazis, against all odds, the Serbians are now our enemy. The Russians, despite the fact of having Stalin, Stalin was an evil man, I am never going to defend Stalin for what he did. But the Russian people, or the Soviet people, they gave everything to give us freedom. They died side by side, American soldiers with Soviet soldiers, with British soldiers, all dying in side by side, fighting this evil. The memorials are everywhere. Don't forget every year normally there is a contingent of Americans and British and whatever European nations that were part of the contingency to take down the evil regime of Hitler that would go to the Red Square, but not this year. No, not this year. Because the sacred saint of Zelensky says, no, you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to because the Nazi in charge, but he's Jewish, Kevin. No. Let's stop playing that game, shall we? This is not about religion. This is about an ideology. And that ideology is quite simple and it's quite honest in what it does. It wants ethnic cleansing because that's what they're about, purity of the race. The Aryan race of pure Ukrainians, no Russians, because Russians are orcs. If you go on different sites like Telegram or another, you'll see video clips after video clips after video clips of ordinary Ukrainians being punished by their own people. There is OSCE reports of torture and human rights abuses by the Ukrainian government and the SBU, but no. We ignore that. For years, the BBC and other Western papers are going on about Azov and how evil they are, even to the point that in the American government, in a bill that does this spending of Americans' taxpayers' money, they managed to put eventually in 2018 the line they kept taking out, which was no weapons or money to be given to the Azov Brigade, because they classed them as terrorists and they knew exactly what they were. They've always known what they are, but they lie, they obfuscate, and they keep lying. But they keep telling you that Putin's the liar and Putin's the one that is causing all the problems. Did Putin have a proxy war? No. For 20 years he's been warning you what would happen if you kept pushing. Baker said that NATO would never advance past Germany. It's gone 14 times now. So imagine if the boot was on the other foot and Russia said, well, Argentina, Peru, Uruguay, etc. went all the way through the South Americas up to Mexico. And then Mexico comes in and says, yeah, but we'll take New Mexico because that says Mexico as well. But you can only speak Spanish, no English speaking, because you speak English, you're a subhuman and we will shoot and kill you. How would you feel? Because it's exactly what the Americans have done. But as normal, America is the good guy, hey? We bombed Yemen, Ethiopia, Somalia, but we're the good guys. NATO's good. If NATO's that good, ask Libya, ask former Yugoslavia, ask Serbia, ask Syria, ask the countries that have been decimated and destroyed by NATO. NATO's about peace. NATO is the new brown shirts for the new world order. And the enthusiastic new Politburo of Europe is fully behind it. So this May the 9th, stop and think about your relatives that might have sacrificed their lives to give you the rights and the freedoms that you enjoy today. Because 26 million Russians gave you that fucking right, and you're about to shit on them because of a lying, dishonest president and media. Bravo. Do zwiadania.
Берлинской группы немецких войск, и сегодня, 2 мая, полностью овладели столицей Германии, городом Берлином, центром немецкого империализма и очагом немецкой агрессии.
8 мая 1945 года в Берлине подписан акт о безоговорочной капитуляции германских вооруженных сил. Великая Отечественная война победоносно завершилась.
Для России 9 мая – самый великий и святой праздник. Мы гордимся поколением победителей, чтим их подвиг. И наша память служит нашему будущему, вдохновляет нас, укрепляет наше единство. Мы обязаны защитить правду о победе.
И чеченцы, и ингуши очень много сделали для победы в Великой Отечественной войне. Вели себя исключительно мужественно, проявили себя как храбрые воины и защитники Отечества.
В битве за Кавказ кровопролитные сражения происходили на Грозненском направлении. Силами его жителей Грозный был превращен в неприступную крепость.
От всей души поздравляю всех наших стариков, которые прошли тот великий путь, который они прошли достойно и который они выиграли. Это Великая Отечественная война. Война, которая унесла не 1 миллион жизней людей.
Указами президента Российской Федерации почетное звание «Город воинской славы» присвоено Грозному.
Чеченцам возвращают заслуженные награды, высокие звания, громкие имена. Это и есть путь Ахмада Кадырова, путь восстановления подлинной истории, путь создания, поддержанный нашим президентом Путиным. Огромный вклад в победу внесли сыны Чеченской республики. Отстояли целостность Отечества. На их примере воспитанные современные герои. Слава героям, павшим за свободу и независимость Родины. Их подвиг будет жить в веках. Днем победы! Аллаху Акбар!
Со слезами на глазах.
Kleptocracy. They clip the guys with the kleptocracy.